Hello, my name is Kelsey Egan, and today I will be walking you through the citric acid cycle. To fully understand the citric acid cycle, it is best that we start with glycolysis. Glycolysis is the process that then goes on to fuel the citric acid cycle. Glycolysis happens in the cytoplasm of the cell. It starts with one molecule of glucose. Throughout all of the steps you are seeing, the glucose molecule is lysed, or otherwise known as split in half. The overall goal of glycolysis is to create two molecules of pyruvate. Also, the process of glycolysis releases 2 ATP and 2 NADHs. The two pyruvate molecules that were produced then move along to start the citric acid cycle. Now we will take a look at the citric acid cycle. You might also hear the citric acid cycle referred to as the Krebs cycle. The citric acid cycle takes place in the inner matrix of the mitochondria. The first thing that happens is that the 2-pyruvate get oxidized. This happens by NAD+ going in and NADH and CO2 being released. The pyruvate molecules are now called acetyl-CoA, which is a protein. Next, an enzyme catalyzes the reaction between acetyl-CoA and oxaloacetic acid. When those two react, it creates citric acid. Now, the citric acid needs to be oxidized. It becomes oxidized by NAD+ going in and NADH and CO2 being released. Once it is oxidized, it is called isocitric acid. Next, more NAD+ goes in and NADH is released with CO2. All the CO2 that is released is later exhaled out of the body. Once this happens, suscoline coenzyme A is made. Now, GDP is added into the cycle to produce GTP. This then allows ADP to be added in through that process, and ATP is made. After that, succinate is produced. Now, FAD is added into the cycle to produce an output of FADH. Now, fumaric acid is created. Water, or H2O, is now added into the cycle to create malic acid. More NAD+ is added into the cycle to produce NADH. All of those steps create one full turn of the citric acid cycle. But since we started with 2 pyruvate molecules getting oxidized, this cycle has to turn twice. You might also be wondering, where do all the NADH and FADH go that were produced during the cycle? All of those now move to the electron transport chain. They help to produce more ATP. During both spins of the citric acid cycle, 10 NADHs are produced, along with 4 ATPs and 2 FADH2s. Once the NADH and FADH2 go through the electron transport chain, they produce 34 more ATPs. So with the 4 ATPs that are produced during the citric acid cycle, you reach the golden number of 38 ATPs produced. 38 ATP produced is the body's ideal number of ATP production. With that being said, this concludes the citric acid cycle. Thank you so much for watching.